So you should all have your brand spanking new colorful reference table here. I do want to add what we already did on Thursday with this. So if you remember, we labeled today. Everybody point to today on this reference table. No, today, Phoenix.
That's where I point. No, you point it over.
Oh boy, no arguing. Today is at 0 million years. So add that label. Oops, there you go. Okay, gentlemen, go label it. So there is the 0 million years. Add that label today. I know you really can't read mine up here. That's why you have your own in front of you. So add an arrow going right to today, 0 million years ago. And then down at the bottom, and I won't go through the whole spiel, but remember here's 4,600 million. That's the same as 4,600 million. Yes, it's exactly, if you are in lab, that's what we're doing now. So down here, I heard. So there's 4,600 million written out. Remember, we could also write it as 4.6 billion. Or you can do 4.6 times 10 to the 9th. All of those mean 4,600 million. So we did that already on Thursday. Yeah. Sure. Wait, are you leaving, like going to a vending machine or just gonna go get a drink of water? Okay, hurry up. Okay, we did this already. Then did we get to talking about decades, centuries, and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so just as a reminder, we said what is a century, first of all? A century is 100 years. And what does a century get broken up into? Decades, which is 10 years. And what did decades get broken up into? Years. And what do years get broken up into? Months, days, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, seconds. Yeah, I knew what you meant. You guys get that concept, that a century is 100 years, but we don't often talk about it as 100 years. We talk about it in the decades. So we talk about like the 20s or the 50s or the 60s, the 70s. Okay, you guys want to talk about the 80s? I like to ignore the 80s, but anyway. So you guys know how we break up 100 years. Even if we had a millennium, they get broken up into centuries. If we're talking about 4,600 million, even talking about a century or even a millennium, there's gonna be a lot of them. It'd be like if I talked about a whole year in terms of seconds. Like, would you ever talk about how many gazillion million seconds there are in a year? To talk about like what day your birthday is? You wouldn't tell me how many seconds into the year it is. You could, but it'd be weird. It would take you long to figure out, and no one else would understand what you were saying unless they also spent that time. So when we're talking about 4,600 million, we don't break it up into millions of years, or even decades or centuries. We use a different time frame, and they're at the top of your reference table. So if you look right here, where it says eon, that's kind of like a century. Just like a century gets broken up into decades, an eon gets broken up into eras. So this is kind of like a century getting broken up into decades, and then decades get broken up into years, but in this case, an era gets broken up into periods. And a period gets broken up into what I pronounce this epoch. I've heard it pronounced other ways too. I'm not sure which one's right, but that's what I'm gonna go with for now. So an eon gets broken up into eras. Eras get broken up into periods. Periods get broken up onto epochs. And then check it out, there's another label for millions of years. So just like we break up centuries into decades, this gets broken up one into the other. The other thing I want to point out here is which one of these is the biggest unit of time? Which one of these at the top is the biggest unit of time? An eon, just like a century is the biggest and we break it up into a decade. What I want to add is a greater than symbol. So an eon is, actually, I'm gonna move it over so you can see it better. An eon is greater than an era. What do you think about an era and a period? Which one's greater? Era is also greater than a period. Same with a period is greater than an epoch. So they keep them in nice, neat, organized order for you, so you don't have to guess with this. An eon gets broken up into an era gets broken up into a period, and a period gets broken up into an epoch. No guessing, no thinking. By the way, I've seen that on a bunch of regions, which put them in order, biggest to smallest. They're already in nice, neat order right there. So let's take this and look at it a little bit by a little bit. So first of all, we had the millions of years here on the left. We also have millions of years here in this middle area. Take a look at these numbers. Do the numbers here match up with the numbers here for millions of years? No, they don't. Here's what I mean. I'm just going to pick a random one right here at 146. Everybody find 146 in the middle area. It's right there in the middle of the yellow section. If you read that over to the other millions of years, would you be anywhere near 146? There's 1,000 and there's 2,000, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait, is 146 right in the middle of 1,000 and 2,000? No. So these don't match up. And here's the rule. See this black line that goes, this real thick black line right there? And it goes down here. I call this the black line of confusedness. It's the official term, confusedness. I'm sorry, was your name on the door? Because it's not, only my name is, and I get to make up words. You better not, because then you're gonna be in trouble, because it's my classroom. I call it the black line of confusedness. No, it's not a real word, but it kind of emphasizes that this black line marks off where things are normal versus where things are not normal. So what I want to point out is this black line right there. What number is that black line labeled in this section for millions of years? 542. Phoenix, you see where it says 542 right there? Follow that black line up and around to the other side. See how it's actually a little below the 500? It would literally be at 542. What happened here is this little section had so much important stuff happening that they couldn't fit it in this teeny tiny section. So basically what they did is they zoomed out and they expanded this tiny section into this entire sheet of paper. Really, yes, it's kind of confusing, but it would have been worse if they didn't do this. Then you would have needed like a fold down reference table. So everything that's this pink, yellow, and green layer, notice how they fit all nicely here. See the pink, the yellow, and the green? They really fit in this section here. So 0 to 542 is there, and it zooms out to this whole section here. So it's a little confusing, but not too bad. Here's the rule. If you are talking about something in the pink, yellow, or green section, you are not allowed to read these millions of years. So the pink, green, and yellow sections have to be read using these times. So let's talk about what's written here. So first of all, we've got how many eons do you guys see on this reference table? So find the eon section. How many eons are there? Where do you see? Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. So you remember that black line of confusedness? Let me just point something out. Under the black line of confusedness, they no longer kind of match up. So there's actually only two. So for the eons, we only have this guy, which is pronounced, that's one, Phanerozoic eon. And then this guy right here, That's the Precambrian. That's the only other eon. When you were saying 4, were you counting this Archean and Proterozoic? That would make complete sense because it is in the eon box. But that black line of confusedness is where things get weird. Under that line, they still go in order, but they don't line up with the words anymore. What I'm saying is this one right here, in fact, let's add that. This is an eon right here. The Phanerozoic is an eon. The Archean, this is an era. The Proterozoic is an era. And then where they say early, late, middle, these are going to be the periods. So they still go in order, eon, era, period. They're just in different spots. So eon, era, and that last one down there is a period right there. So there's only 2 eons. And those eons get broken up into eras. And that's where this Phanerozoic eon, which, by the way, do you notice which one's bigger, the Phanerozoic or the Precambrian? Precambrian's huge. Goes from 4,600 million years ago to 542 million years. So that eon is unproportionally large compared to the one that we're currently in. But this eon gets broken up into these 3 eras. So see how they would have fit right there, the purple, yellow, and green? They fit right into there. And then those eras get broken up into periods, and those periods get broken up into epochs, and then down to millions of years. Now these millions of years, let's do some investigating here. You guys are interested in dinosaurs a little bit? Some of you are. Let's find the words earliest dinosaurs. First of all, do you think earliest dinosaurs are closer to today or closer to 4,600 million years? See, you'd think they were closer, but they're not. Nope, dinosaurs are closer to us than the formation of Earth. They're right here, the words earliest dinosaurs. They're near the bottom of the yellow section. Everybody go ahead and point to them. So they are from the Triassic period. No, it's called Jurassic Park, which is right here, which if you notice, it says abundant dinosaurs. What's the word abundant mean? A lot. So that's why it was called Jurassic Park, because that's when there was a lot of dinosaurs. I'm almost done, so but stay with me. I want to estimate how many millions of years ago you think the earliest dinosaurs were.
4.
No, look at the reference table.
2.
So here's the earliest dinosaurs that I want to look at. Here's the label 200. Yes, and here's a label for 251. Are they on 200 or 251? No, so you do have to estimate somewhere between 200 and 251. I liked your answer of maybe like 230 million years ago. So it looks like that's where we're going to stop. See, this is why we couldn't have colored. This is where we needed to stop, and we couldn't have got that far. So I would like you guys to save this colored one for tomorrow. We will keep going with it. Why would we not do work on Thursday? You have school.